Tuesday, May 24th, the Just Baseball Show. We're about, a third of the way through the season? A quarter?
No, I think it's closer to a quarter because we were just 20% about a week ago. I'd say we're around 25% right now.
Look, this is a very easy math problem here. The Yankees are 29-12. That means they've played 41 games.
That's the best record in baseball, right?
29-12 is the best record in baseball.
Just
Congratulations for rubbing it in everybody's.
No, I was just checking. I was just checking.
That was a great doubleheader on Sunday, by the way.
Oh, it was phenomenal. I mean, I know the Yankees lost both of those games, but so entertaining. And just, I mean, you can tell these two teams do not like each other.
They don't like each other, which is great for us.
It is
an awesome content thing for the both of us.
Because we should we take on the roles of our teams and start hating each other too? I like you too much though.
That works for me. I got a text late night though yesterday. How sweet was that game? Hope you're rubbing it in Peter's face. Haha. And I gave a little fist pump. I was like, you know what? I'll take this one because we're in the way more underwhelming division. And I guarantee we've got more blips in the radar coming than the Yankees do. But you know what? I'll absolutely bask in the glory of that Sunday Night Baseball win.
If I were you, I would just be basking in the glory that is Michael Kopech.
Oh my God.
That was okay. I have something for you. Was that not the most impressive start of the year? Sunday Night Baseball in Yankee Stadium against the best offense currently right now, shoved it down their throats. 5 no-hit or 4 perfect innings.
Yeah.
Only a couple hits allowed. The first hit by Rob Brantley of all people.
Yeah.
That was, from watching, one of the most impressive starts of the year. Maybe not statistically, but maybe statistically as well.
No, I'm thinking obviously you go to Reed Detmers' no-hitter and you go to Tyler McGill starting that combined no-no, but McGill only went 5. And it's Sunday Night Baseball against the best offense in baseball and he shut him down. That's a really interesting way to frame it. And I wasn't thinking of it like that in the moment because Arm and I on yesterday's episode just talked about the progression of Michael Kopech and how he went from this guy that was a totally different pitcher 4 years ago when he made his major league debut to right now, because now he's 95 to 97 for the most part with his 4-seam fastball. And it's a high spin fastball. And he's got that great breaking ball. He's just a different pitcher now. So we talked about the maturation and the development of Kopech. But we didn't talk about the overall impressiveness of that outing. Yeah, I don't think I've watched a more impressive outing given the stakes and given the moment than Sunday night.
I will say one thing. I mean, I have barely missed an inning of Yankee baseball. That was the best start I've seen against the Yankees.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, but also on that same note, I think that was basically game 7 for Michael Kopech World Series. That felt like the pinnacle, at least of his season so far, that he was humming 98, 99 miles an hour. I don't think he can realistically keep up that type of velocity all year long. Again, in a day game against the Royals, I don't think he's throwing 98 to 99. So I think that was the best version of Michael Kopech that we could possibly get. He could locate the breaking ball with ease, 98, 99 on the corners with thump. It was one of the most impressive starts I've seen all year.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I don't think he's going to match that moment every 5th day. But I think when you put Michael Kopech on a stage like that, and you might not see a stage like that until the postseason, I think he's going to show up in the postseason. If he's one of those guys that just turns it on in the postseason, and we've seen many of those guys show up, I mean, I can totally sign up for that.
I mean, Colby and I, my co-host on Not Gambling Advice, when we were talking fantasy baseball, we were just talking about it. And he just texts me, Kopech is a dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that doesn't just come across, when I think of the word dude, I think of just a guy on the mound with incredible moxie, like you like to call, just a man with a plan who's commanding on the mound. Michael Kopech had that. Sandy Alcantara had that for the Marlins in his last start. Just dudes who take the mound and control it like nobody's business. That's what Kopech did. And we only have a couple of those in Major League Baseball.
Okay, going to cross-check with you because I listed 4 guys and Aram called me out on missing a 5th. He totally slipped my mind. There are 5 guys that I think this summer are just going to be walking quality starts, and I think just dudes this summer. I said Sandy Alcantara, Walker Buehler, who else did I say? Joe Musgrove, Kevin Gausman,
I like it so
and
far.
then aromatic Verlander.
Yeah. Oh,
Who else are we missing that are just like going to be dudes all summer long?
I think Garrett Cole is going to be a dude all summer long.
He
I think
could
Corbin
be.
Burns is going to be a dude all summer long.
Yeah.
I think Max Fried is going to be a dude all summer long.
Ooh, you think so?
Yeah, I love everything about that man. I think he is one of the best pitchers in baseball. I think your guy, Shane McClanahan, is going to be a dude.
I fucking love Shane McClanahan.
Yeah. I feel the same way about Fried. I think he's one of the best left-handers in baseball. And then Shane McClanahan is really turning into that. But Fried has established himself now.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't know if he's going to be that guy where like he's, taking the mound and you can win a 1-0 game that day.
It just feels like you can. I think that as Charlie Morton continues to age, Max Fried is taking a hold of that World Series team. He's the ace. I think he's going to be a dude in the summer.
Okay, fair. Let's check in on that at the All-Star break. And let's see how Max Fried is faring. But we're a quarter of the way through the season right now. What we're going to do is we're going to run through who we think are like the top 3-ish guys, have some debate here for the AL MVP, NL MVP, AL Cy Young, NL Cy Young. And it's hard right now. And, you can look at guys like Taylor Ward, right? Oh my God, he's got an OPS over 1100. Is he an MVP candidate? The answer right now is yes, but who's realistic? Like, we're going to have that type of conversation because you have to mention a guy like Taylor Ward. You got to mention a guy like Miles Michaelis in the NL Cy Young. So we'll start with the MVPs. I'll bring some names in each league, and then we'll go to the Cy Youngs, and Peter will bring some names in each league. Cool?
That sounds cool with me. Should we do American League? So you have some MVPs, I have the Cy Youngs, or should we do just MVPs and then Cy Youngs? The world is our oyster.
It is. Do we want to turn on our American League brain or our hitters brain?
Let's turn on our American League brain. Let's cover the league.
All right. So I'll do MVP, then you do Cy Young.
I like it.
I think the leader in the clubhouse needs to be Mike Trout at the moment. Like,
say you're wrong.
What this guy's doing is dumb. He's got an 1100 OPS. And we're a quarter of the way through the season. Mike Trout in 38 games is hitting 323 with an 1133 OPS. He's slugging 699. That's criminal.
Yeah. I mean, he's the best player in baseball. We know that. There's no debate now. I mean, he's got 12 bombs and 323. Mike Trout is the front runner right now, but I think you could make the argument that there's a different front runner, in my opinion.
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge leads the league in home runs, is hitting near 320. And he's playing great defense.
Yeah. I didn't realize that. For a couple of years, because he came in and he was just that hulking guy and everybody watched the bat. I mean, he's always been a pretty solid defender, and now he's a great defender.
Great defender. They play him in center for a reason, because you can cover a lot of ground out there, and he has one of the best and most accurate arms, because we know there's a lot of guys who could fire it in. Hunter Renfroe comes to mind of just someone who's at a perfect game showcase.
Yeah, but he's
throwing 109 miles an hour from right field to home plate. But the accuracy combined with the velocity from Aaron Judge's arm keeps so many hitters at bay from going from first to second on a double at the Yankee Stadium. I mean, Jack, there have been countless times where double in the gap, Aaron Judge, they don't even run on him because they know he's mastered the delivery from right field to second base to nab the runner. Dude, and my preseason MVP pick.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing about Judge, which I find so fascinating. And he's one of 3 guys with an OPS over 1,000 among qualified hitters. Taylor Ward is not qualified. I think he's got an 1,100 OPS. Ward does, but it's Trout at 1133, Judge at 1065, and Machado at 1065 as well. But defensively, again, like, when I think range in the outfield and an accurate throwing arm, and you show me a picture of Aaron Judge, I'm saying no, like, that's not what that guy's supposed to look like. He's supposed to be a scrappy 6 foot, maybe like 200 pounds on his best day type of center fielder. But it looks like Rob Gronkowski, and he's got a BB, and it's an accurate BB, which is just bizarre.
I personally, so far this season, think that Aaron Judge has been the best overall player in the entire sport.
It's hard not to say Trout, dude. It's hard.
Yeah, Trout's been pretty good. Can't lie. Trout has been very good.
So good.
Trout might be better, but I think it's them too.
Over Machado, like we're going to get into the Machado conversation, but you think Judge is having a better either than Machado? I just don't think so.
We could crunch the numbers, the power.
There are a lot of really good baseball players.
Yeah, I mean, Machado's got more hits. It's so close. Maybe you could give it to Machado, but it's those three. I mean, and with Judge's defense, but Machado's playing incredible defense. We're going to talk about the NL MVP, so let's stick with the AL.
Yeah, 100%. My third guy, and like Taylor Ward is probably the third guy, but if I just had to stick to guys that have played enough, I think it's Rafi Devers, who is playing decent enough defense to the point where he's one of the best players by F1 all of Major League Baseball. And I mean, in 41 games, the guy's hitting 335 with a 960 OPS, 15 doubles, 9 homers in 41 games. Devers is like, and the Red Sox are getting hot. Bogarts has been awesome. JD has been awesome. I think Devers has been the best of the bunch.
I think so too. Devers is becoming. See, it's so hard with third base rankings because I'm like, oh, Devers is definitely the second best third baseman in baseball. But then I'm like, well, he's not better than Jose Ramirez, and he's probably not better than Machado right now.
Or
so it's so hard, or Arenado. But the thing is, I think I would rather have Devers than Arenado. Would, because the great thing is Devers is improving on defense. He looks better over there. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me of where he ranks in terms of outs above average, but from the eye test, I mean, I'm watching plenty of these Red Sox games. He looks better. He does. His range looks better. His arm looks a little bit more accurate. I mean, you're probably pulling it up, seeing where he ranks right now to see if my eye test matches the numbers.
I think I might chuckle every time you say eye test. 37%.
I watch a lot of baseball.
Average. I know. I know you do. Eye test is a tough caveat to throw on things. I feel like when you say eye test, people are like, oh God, don't say
I know
that.
it's like, I can't say what I'm looking at anymore. It has to be backed by numbers or it's just not true. I think he looks better defensively than he did last year.
37th percentile in outs above average. Let me pull that up among third basemen. Position, all, position, 3B, update. Jace Peterson's the best by outs above average. That's pretty awesome.
Is he, you think?
I don't know. Arenado's third. I kind of think Arenado and Machado are right there. Matt Chapman too. Let's see. Devers. Where are you, Rafi? Devers. He's 15th, right ahead of Yandy Diaz, Ryan McMahon, not Max Muncy. Why is Max Muncy on here? Bobby Witt Jr. Okay, so he's like been average. He's got 0 outs above average.
That's way better than way below average that he was last year.
Like Austin Riley?
Yeah, I mean,
Austin Riley can't field.
No, don't say that. Austin Riley can certainly field. He led the position in defensive runs saved last year.
He's -7 outs above average right now. He's far and away the worst defensive third baseman in baseball at the moment.
He looks good to me. I test.
I test.
I don't know why they can't matter anymore. Why does it not
Gold
matter
Glove, Austin Riley. I test.
Why does it not matter anymore what I see with my eyes? Is that just not correct anymore?
No, it's correct. We just have to like contextualize it. We just have to back it up with the data, right? And usually what we see is backed up by data effectively. So we're hanging on that front. Let's transition to the mound. Walk me through AL Cy Young winner. So the top 3 that we listed out were Trout, were Judge, and were Devers. And I think we agree that it's probably Trout right now, but Judge is a very close second. And then there's a massive distance between Judge and like Taylor Ward and Rafi Devers.
Yeah, you could put Taylor Ward in the conversation, but we're just saying over the year who we probably, and that's why I got to move into the AL Cy Young, because there's a couple different ways we could go about it. I'm going to give the Cy Young to Justin Verlander right now. If we're talking about a production stat, we have to look a little bit closer at ERA than some of the peripheral stats, even though, I love the peripheral stats. But at the end of the day, Justin Verlander leads all of baseball in ERA at 1.22. He's not striking out as many batters as I might have hoped, only 8.54 per 9 innings, but he's still striking out plenty to be good. And he's not walking anybody either. That's where the command is. And he's one of the tops in FWAR, and he's 6-1 in 8 starts. So every single time he's on the mound, the Astros are most likely winning that game. My number 2 is still Kevin Gausman. Although his ERA has raised to 2.52, he has one of the lowest FIPs in baseball. Actually, I think if we go and we look exactly at FIP and we find out who's the lowest, it is Kevin Gausman. And I'm just loading that up right now. But then the thing is with Kevin Gausman is that the FIP is at 1.26, and it is the best in baseball, but he's got a 2.52 ERA. And then I think we wrap it all around with Nestor Cortez Jr. He's got an ERA at 1.80. He's striking out over 11 guys per 9 innings. The peripherals look amazing too. That's who I picked for the third, but you could go so many different directions. You could go with Alek Manoah of the Blue Jays, who's been phenomenal. You could go with Martin Perez of the Rangers. You could also go with Michael Kopech and his 1.29 ERA. You could go a lot of different directions, but those were the 3 that I came to. Verlander, Nestor, and who was my third?
And Gausman.
Gausman.
Yeah, Gausman, 57 punch outs, 3 walks at the moment. That's hard to contend with. Yeah, Nestor, like you said, Nestor, and I initially shuddered, but then I'm like, yeah, Nestor's deserving to be top 3, but Manoah is deserving. You know, Kopech is like borderline deserving. A guy that you didn't mention is McClanahan, and McClanahan is among the tops in Major League Baseball in strikeouts right now.
Yeah,
he could be in there too. It's such a deep field in the American League.
Crazy. It's not super top heavy. You know, it's not just the Garrett Cole at the top like we might have expected. It's everybody else. Yeah, I mean, like I'm just walking through each division, and it's like this is anybody's award to win right now. And a lot of the best arms are in the American League right now. That's not something that we saw without the universal DH.
And I added Nestor Cortez Jr. for a reason. I think he can continue this. The peripherals look great. He's got a ton of movement on all of his pitches, and his command is impeccable. He's not going to blow you away with 95, but the high spin fastball, even at 89, 90 miles an hour, looks quicker, blowing away guys at the top of the zone with it. Then he breaks off the unhittable cutter. He's a really good pitcher. He's not this facade. He's not this, fun guy with a mustache that's pitching really well right now. No, this is a legit pitcher. And I think he'll be there near the end of the year.
I also love how he mixes arm slots. Like, I think that's the most fun thing to watch with him because, yeah, you can ooh and ah over stuff and over pitch movement all the time. But when you have like a Johnny Cueto light on the mound and you've got a guy who can go overhand to low 3/4 to sidearm back to 3/4, that's fun. It always keeps you on your toes. And I'm sure it messes with pitchers. Like, that's something that happens in wiffle ball. That's something that we would do if we were playing wiffle ball with our buddies. And Nestor is doing that to the best hitters on planet Earth.
We all remember, Yankee fans do, El Duque with the super high leg lift, the varying arm motions. He was that effective pitcher that Yankee fans grew to love, and Nestor's becoming the same type of player.
Yeah, 100%. McClanahan, I am going to make the case for Shane real quick because he's got a 2.33 ERA and 46 in the third innings, 65 punch outs and 46 in the third innings.
So good.
65 punch outs. That's ridiculous.
That's awesome. He's so good. So if you put Shane McClanahan in this top 3, are you taking out Verlander? Are you taking out Gausman? Are you taking out Nestor?
Probably Nestor.
Nestor
can't do it.
Look at Nestor's strikeout to walk ratio too. It's not
his
quite
ERA.
as many as planned.
ERA's
better.
He's pitching in like a way better hitter's park.
And he has one of the best xERAs in all of baseball. I think he's number 1 right now in expected ERA for those that qualify.
And he's more endearing. Got to factor that in too, guys.
And way more jolly. Way more jolly.
And he's a friend of the Just Baseball show. Yeah, so we can't work against Nestor like that. All right. Do we put our NL brains on now?
I think we put our NL brains on, but can we shout out Martin Perez for a second?
Yeah, we can shout out Martin
Perez. He came off a shutout against the Astros. He is dealing. He is absolutely dealing right now. It is so fun to watch. It's similar to Nestor, not in the varying leg lifts and all that kind of stuff, but just impeccable command from a shorter lefty who's not blowing anybody away, but he's missing barrels like crazy. Nobody can touch him. It's awesome. It's just great pitching art. It's fun to watch.
I don't know how that shit works. I have no idea how Martin Perez works, but you know what? He does it. He works so well.
Kind of looks like vintage Keuchel.
Yeah, and I had no idea how that shit worked, and I'm watching Dallas Keuchel get blown up every 5th day with the White Sox.
I feel like you, of all people, would know how it works with Mark Burley being your favorite player. I mean, he basically invented that.
Yeah,
not really, but
Burley was pinpoint command. Like I see
These guys
Keuchel
have pinpoint command.
I saw Keuchel miss down the dick with a cutter. Like,
yeah, he sucks now, but not.
Sucks
I say
now.
Vintage Keuchel, Astros Keuchel,
Cy Young Keuchel, because it wasn't even vintage. Keuchel. Dallas Keuchel was a 1-year wonder. Can we chalk him up as a 1-year wonder?
You said it, not me.
Okay, I'm going to pull up Dallas Keuchel's baseball reference right now. Okay. Dallas Keuchel, 1-year wonder, 1-time Cy Young Award winner, 2-time All-Star, 5-time Gold Glove. Keuchel had a sub-3 ERA in 2017. Damn it. He had
not a 1-year wonder.
2.48 ERA in 2015.
Short prime.
Oh, God. He had a 2.93 in 2014, too. Ah, shit. Yeah, I guess he's not a 1-year wonder.
He's not.
Oh, what do you think Dallas Keuchel's whip is through 7 starts?
This year? 196.
2. I texted you 196 before that start, and it got worse. He's got a whip of 2. Dallas Keuchel in 30 innings, 42 hits against him in 30 innings, 16 strikeouts, 18 walks.
So basically every inning he's walking a batter and giving up a hit.
He's
runners on first and second every inning.
He's walking more guys than he struck out this. Do you know how hard that is to do as a Major League Baseball pitcher? 16 punch outs, 18 walks
with a contender. Keep a job with a contender.
Well, yeah, I don't know if he's gonna have a job for much longer. We'll check back with me in 2 weeks.
You should go back to Houston.
Davis Martin is a better option.
Davis Martin? No way you think that.
Oh yeah, I do, bro. Davis Martin shoves. Yes.
Okay.
I saw him shove in Charlotte. He shoved in his major league debut. I think Davis Martin is a better option right now than Dallas Keuchel.
All right, we'll take that then.
Yep.
Let's put on our NL hats.
Gem. Yeah, put on our NL hats. MVP, like it's Manny Machado. The National League MVP is Manny Machado. Let's pack up and go home. Yeah, I love watching this from Manny Machado. The 2 other guys that I think we should mention here are Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt, to be totally honest. If I had to throw more names in there, it would be CJ Cron and maybe Bryce Harper at the moment, because Harper's heating up big time. But I think Arenado and Goldschmidt are 2 of the top 3 in NL MVP voting right now.
It's funny. Your opinion has slightly changed. I mean, I gave you Machado about a week ago and you're like, Arenado has been better, but
Machado, and then all of a sudden, Manny had like 3 hits in 4 straight games. I'm like, oh God, okay.
You know who's pretty damn good and maybe deserves some love in this conversation? Maybe not in the top 3. I'd get it. But Mookie Betts is heating up.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know if you've been paying attention here, folks, but Mookie Betts is so freaking back. He's walking almost as much as he struck it out for the season. He's got a 153 WRC plus, which is crazy. His May has probably been one of the best Mays in the entire sport. Mookie Betts is climbing up the charts. Now he's 6th in baseball in F4. Like he's ahead of guys like Nolan Arenado in F4. He's ahead of Paul Goldschmidt in F4. And he's not like his full total of work this season isn't even the best it could be. Like Mookie Betts is doing Mookie Betts things again. It's just good to see him healthy and out there because he had a down year by his standards last year, but is just one of the best players in baseball. And people are hating on him. You shouldn't, because it's Mookie freaking Betts.
I think Mookie had the 2nd best May, maybe 3rd. I mean, Machado is having a kick-ass May again. True. But I think Bryce Harper is having a hell of a May right now, man.
The only problem is Harper's not giving you any value on defense because of the elbow. So he's just DHing.
Yeah. So he's just DHing, but Bryce Harper, the DH, 14 games. He's hitting 357 in May with a 1200 OPS.
That's going to play.
That's going to play as a DH. I'm totally here for that. He won't win it as a DH. But I mean, let's take a moment to acknowledge what the hell Paul Goldschmidt is doing right now.
Yeah.
Because Goldschmidt is ridiculous. 39 games, hitting 342 with a 975 OPS. He's amazing right now, dude.
How does Paul Goldschmidt at 34 years old? At 34 years old. The only question is, do you think he's going to be a Hall of Famer?
No.
Hall of very good, most likely.
Yeah.
Just
Hall of somewhere between great. Hall of somewhere between very good and great.
How about another Cardinal, Tommy Edman?
Yeah, so Edman, he provides value elsewhere, and then all of a sudden, like he's got an OPS north of 900.
He's hitting the
kind
shit
of
out of the
came
ball
out of
too.
nowhere.
Hitting the shit out of the ball, and one of the league leaders in stolen bases, and one of the best defenders.
Kind of came out of nowhere.
I just didn't think we expected 113 mile an hour exit velos on opening day from Tommy Edman. That's just not what we thought was going to happen. We didn't assume that he was going to hit the ball with such authority that he has already.
No, and Edman, what I love about him is like I was wholeheartedly expecting him to be a star on the Cardinals. I was expecting him to be an all-star. I was not expecting him to be like borderline top 5 in MVP voting, because I didn't expect him to hit with any thump like you're talking about. I didn't expect him to impact the baseball like he is right now. But the beauty of Tommy Edman, Harrison Bader's out, Dylan Carlson pulls a hammy. You slap Edman in center and you've got no qualms about it. It was like the second time that he played center in his major league career on Saturday in Pittsburgh. And I mean, that was no problem for Tommy Edman. He was like, yep, I'm good. I'm in center.
He's kind of turning into the prime Whit Merrifield.
Yeah, maybe better than Whit was.
Maybe. Whit had some power, though.
Edman is an upgraded Chris Taylor. Is that fair?
Upgrade Chris Taylor from right now, because he's kind of like prime Chris Taylor. He's a better defender than either of them, though. Like, he is a Gold Glove caliber level defender. I think he's a better defender at second than Whit ever was. And we'll see how he fares in the outfield, because Whit actually played a pretty decent outfield too. We'll see how that continues. But to your point, no qualms. Still going to look great out there. He's hitting the shit out of the ball. He's got the same speed that Whit does.
Yeah.
He's just a great player.
It's deep. A guy that I did really want to mention here that has just sucked this month is Matt Olson. I was so ready to chalk Matt Olson up as the guy and like the second coming at the end of April. And then here we are in May. I want to say he's hitting like $150 in May. Like it's just been bad.
How about our first base rankings? We ranked Freddie Freeman, and the number 1 in the world lost their freaking minds. And now who's the best first baseman probably in baseball right now still?
Bada bing, Freddie Freeman deserves mention for NL MVP voting conversation.
That's what I'm saying here. We knew that Freddie is going to deliver. We thought that Matt Olson would deliver in Atlanta. We thought that Vladdy would have a great season again in his first season. And I'm not saying it's over. It's May. I'm not counting my chickens yet. But that's just what we're dealing with. I know that Freddie Freeman is going to deliver no matter what.
Here's the thing. Like, what Vladdy can do is better than what Freeman can do. But we know Freeman, the first time Freeman got cold in his career was last year. Yeah. That was the first time we ever saw Freddie Freeman look like a human being. So we're banking on that not happening again.
And then in that season, he won a title.
Yes.
And had an amazing second half.
Yes.
That's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah. So we're dealing with a guy that, like, it's pretty much impossible for him to get cold for more than 3 games. So,
and if he's colder than 3 games, it's like, oh, is Freddie Freeman hurt, or is there a problem here? Because he's one of the most consistent players in the whole game.
It's like, oh God, he's won for his last 12. Sound the alarms.
And then he goes 3 for 4, and you're like, oh, he's back.
Yeah.
NL Cy Young.
Yes.
Or NL Cy Young. So this is tough, because do you care about production or do you care about peripherals? I'm going to stick with production right now.
Good. I'm totally changing you on this right now, man. I love this.
We're looking
at about innings pitched and wins.
Yes, pitcher wins is the most important stat in the books. Excuse me. National League. I'm having Miles Michaelis finish 3rd. I am. You could say, I don't know if he's going to land there at the end of the year. Might be able to say that, as the peripherals say, that we're pointing towards some regression. But still, he has been unequivocally one of the best pitchers in baseball in terms of ERA, a 1.68 ERA entering his start today. Or actually, we're recording on Monday to be released on Tuesday. He is starting today. We will see how he does. But going into that start, 1.68 ERA can't fight the production. Joe Musgrove at number 2. Unreal. Unfreaking believable. You should be singing the praise, Jack, of how good Joe Musgrove has been, because he doesn't lose and he's got an ERA below 2. But at number 1, I'm going to give it to Pablo Lopez. I'm going to give it to Pablo Lopez. He's got one of the best ERAs in baseball. Peripherals look great. He's striking out a bunch of guys, and he's not walking anybody. One guy I had to leave out is Carlos Rodon of the Giants. He's got a 3.43 ERA, but that's the worst thing about him. And a 3.43 ERA is still pretty solid. His peripherals look great. He's striking out near 13 guys an inning, not walking anybody really either. He's had a couple of blow-up starts, so that's where you see the ERA at. But I really want to put Carlos Rodon in this top 3. But what am I supposed to do? Miles, all these guys have ERAs under 2 and have been dominant thus far, so I have to give it to them.
Yeah. Another guy that you are notably omitting is Corbin Burnes again.
Yes.
Burnes through 8 starts has a 2.26 ERA. He's got a .83 whip, which leads the National League, and he's got 62 punch outs and 8 walks. Here we go with Corbin Burnes all over again. Rodon is subject to the bad start. Rodon is also subject to, later in the year, he might taper off here. So I'm with you on the Rodon thing. He's the most notable of all the notable omissions right now. There are also a lot of guys that have been underwhelming to start. Like Logan Webb has been really underwhelming to start, but he could rip off a heater. Walker Buehler had been somewhat underwhelming to start, aside from that complete game shutout that he threw in Arizona. He could rip off a heater. And you've got a lot more guys like that. Urias, same kind of deal. He could just rip off a banger of a 5-start stretch. But I'm with you. I think you got the 3 right. Lopez is the guy right now. I say come back and talk to me in 3 weeks, and we might be flip-flopping Musgrove and Pablo Lopez.
I think we'll see if Pablo Lopez remains on this, because Pablo Lopez is also guys dealt with injuries his entire career and has never performed like this before. He's always been really good, always been above average, always been a great 3, but he's never shown that he could be a 1. Now he is. We'll see if it continues. I think it could, because, Arm was talking about it, and he even showed a video on our Twitter at Just BB Media, kind of doing a side-by-side of the mechanics. The arm motion is different. The changeup is as best as I've ever seen it, and he's throwing harder than ever before. So maybe this is a sign that he won't regress, but prior history would point us towards, he's probably going to regress a little bit.
Yeah. You also got to mention April, 23 1/3, 1 earned run against him. That was a .39 ERA. In May, he's got a 2.8 ERA, 22 2/3, 7 earned runs against him. So he's had harder outings, but that's still a sub-3 ERA in the month of May. And you look at Musgrove, as I pull up his monthly splits as we stand right now. Joe Musgrove in April had a 2.16 ERA. That's 6 earned runs in 25 innings. In May, 27 innings, 5 earned runs. So he's got a 1.67 ERA in May.
I think
he's going to keep on getting better.
Yeah.
He's allergic to losing games.
Yeah, he's allergic to it.
He doesn't lose games at all. He's 5-0 right now.
Yeah,
in 8 starts.
Pitcher wins. We need him.
Quality starts. I think pitcher wins and quality starts go somewhat hand in hand. I think wins are stupid. I think wins are outdated.
I think quality starts are kind of fucking stupid. I mean, think about it. 6 innings, 3 runs. That's a 4.50 ERA.
See, I think they should lower it to 6 and 2 runs.
Agreed. If it was 6 and 2, give me that. I'm like, that's a great stat. 6 and 3. I'd rather you go 5 and 2. I mean,
here's the thing though. Like a lot of guys, if they're going to give up 3 earned runs, they're not going to stay in through 6.
No,
that's not how baseball works anymore.
It seems like the guys who you'll get to the 5th inning or the 6th inning and they haven't allowed a run yet, then they'll have a little bit of a blow up inning and then they'll just get taken out immediately.
Yeah, I like it because it shows A, pitch economy, and B, success. I think pitch economy is one of the most underrated things in baseball right now. Like guys getting through with under 10 pitches in an inning. That's the beauty of what's going on here. Like you see so many 1, 2, 3 innings that take 15 pitches. I want a 1, 2, 3 inning that takes 8 pitches.
That's Dylan Cease's only problem.
Pitch economy. He throws way too many pitches.
But he's so good though. And we
let him like walks a shit ton of guys. I mean, that's the thing. Like he struck out 11 in 4 innings, but he only lasted 4 innings. Last more than that.
You're last longer. I know. I mean, that's the thing with Dylan Cease. That's what's like. That's what's separating him from taking that jump to Cy Young Award winner.
He's lasting longer. He's got to figure out how to last longer.
Yeah,
and that's why I want to tell you about our friends at Viagra. Is that good?
God. Yeah, if we had an ad for a dick pill or something, that would have been a perfect transition.
It'd be perfect. Get Roman.
No, screw that. They haven't paid us yet.
Yeah, true. Good point. Yeah, no, I think that's fair, man. Who else are we omitting from the National League right now?
The National League in terms of pitchers?
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of names. I mean, we could talk about Max Fried. He's got a 3.31 ERA, really low peripherals hit, and he's not striking out anybody, but 1.10 walks per 9 innings. You know who's been great? Carlos Carrasco has been really great too.
Cookie.
Merrill Kelly has been great, but
he's been bad in May. He's been bad in May, like a 6.5 ERA in May.
And there's a guy here who's been pitching pretty well in the American League. And I just want to quickly mention him that Jameson Taillon has been excellent. Just saying. 2.95 ERA, 3.21 FIP, one of the league leaders in F4. Just saying. Not trying to get too crazy, just letting you guys know Jameson Taillon is dealing.
Speaking of Jameson Taillon, Roansy Contreras recalled by Pittsburgh. That guy shoves. He's going to start shoving again for the Pirates. That's fun. Like, you can watch the Pittsburgh Pirates now 40% of the time when Quintana's on the mound and when Roansy Contreras is on the mound. They also just selected Yerry De Los Santos, who I think is disgusting. I just talked about him on the pod yesterday. I think he's gross.
And the reason you mentioned that is Contreras is getting called up is because Contreras was traded for Jameson Taillon. That's how the Yankees got him from the Pirates. And he's going to be a really good prospect. Yankees might end up losing that deal if Contreras turns out to be what he's supposed to be. Also, Kenan Smith is, he hasn't performed well, I guess, in the minors lately, but for every other year, is he turning it back up?
I'm watching Kanan every day. The guy is riding a 20-game on-base streak at the moment.
Yeah, he's going to be good.
He's also hilarious. He's a very nice guy, Kanan Smith and Jigba. So I always root for the good guys. And Roansy Contreras, I've heard, is a good guy as well. And there we go, man. I think it's going to be a very close deal. If Taillon continues to produce for you guys and the Yankees go deep, and if Contreras does some good stuff, and if Smith and Jigba does some good stuff for the Pirates, then, you can pretty much call that mutually beneficial for what each team needed at each moment. This week, I don't really know what I'm looking at the moment. Philly and the Braves is interesting. That got going last night. Toronto and St. Louis this week is probably the one that I have my eye on the closest, as well as Milwaukee and San Diego and the Mets and the Giants.
So tonight, well, this is obviously being recorded on Monday to be released on Tuesday. So Monday night, we have Jose Barrios versus Miles Michaelis.
Yep.
I'm on the Blue Jays money line, backing Barrios against Michaelis.
You're outthinking yourself a little bit.
Am I? We'll see.
I don't know.
Because I think I'm being sharp here. Because I think after an 18-4 win by the Cardinals, everybody's going to be on the Cardinals. But they're only minus 125. You'd think they'd be way more highly favored. Blue Jays have been struggling. Barrios has been struggling. Due for regression. Everybody's on the Cardinals. So either I'm spot on or going to be completely off. But either way, I'm excited.
That's how that shit works, right? You're either spot on or off. So here's how betting works that I figured out. You either win or you don't win.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah. That's how it goes, right? And it's either like, oh, that bet sucked, or like the worst beat ever if you lose.
The worst beat ever. I'm still reeling from this Marlins Braves first 5, where the Marlins were winning with Sandy Alcantara on the mound the entire time. And in the top of the 5th, Ozzie Albies hits a fly ball to left center. Jesus Sanchez runs under it, drops it.
God.
Like you would in Little League, kicks it. Ozzie Albies gets the third. Dansby Swanson fists a single into right. 1 run scored, lose the bet.
That sucks.
Yeah. But
Sorry
then
to hear it.
We won on the Cubs money line because they were losing 4-3, and Patrick Wisdom and Frank Schwindel homered. So we ended up winning that one. So there's unlucky, there's lucky, it's just all a bunch of bullshit. It's hard.
Ethan Badowski used the nickname P-Wiz, P-E-E-W-I-Z for Patrick Wisdom. And I thought that was so funny. P-Wiz, that's gross. What else? Last thing before we go, Loop, I've got $20. I'm going to look to deploy that on Bowman Baseball 2022. You're wearing your Loop shirt here. I got to figure out the right way to spend that money on the Loop app. You get 20 free bucks if you use the link in our episode description. I've got the 20 free because I kind of went Galaxy Brain here and downloaded it from that link. So I've got that $20 referral. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what do I hunt? I think it's Bowman Baseball 2022, right? Because on justbaseball.com, Aram just put out an article about like the resale value on these guys. Like if you hit the jackpot on some of these prospects, their cards are going for stupid amounts of money.
That's what I was just about to say. Check out Aram wrote a great article evaluating the Bowman baseball class and what cards to look out for, which prospects. We also ranked the top 100 prospects on justbaseball.com. So if you aren't able to check out the Bowman baseball, at least you can find out which prospects that Just Baseball and Aram mostly is very high on. So that's all over justbaseball.com. You can join our Chalkboard Baseball group chat. We're giving out picks, talking baseball every single day. That's in the episode description as well. And get your Just Baseball merch, people. We're coming out with some long sleeves, some new hats. So make sure you check out the Just Baseball merch store. Anything else?
Damn, you gonna mail me a long sleeve?
Do I have to mail you a long sleeve?
Yeah, you do.
All right. With that, thank you, everybody.